You never really know what someone else is thinking. They might have cruel intentions, a heart filled with malice, and a mind that's ready to crack. But this can all be so much worse when it's hidden behind a smile. There's something unsettling about a wicked grin. In fact, a lot of horror villains have made it their signature. Think Mr. Hyde, Pennywise, Jack Torrance, or even Jeff the Killer. And the Smile movies have gotten serious mileage out of that singular scary image. But what exactly makes some smiles scarier than others? Let's see. First of all, a genuine smile involves more than just the mouth. When you're truly delighted, you contract muscles around your eyes too. This sort of expression is called a Duchenne smile, hard to fake because it's involuntary. Have you ever read a story about a character whose smile doesn't quite reach the eyes? This is where that expression comes from. It's a dead giveaway that they're not being completely honest. And we have a hardwired reaction when we see a smile that doesn't fit the face. It slopes down into the uncanny valley. It's something that we recognize as human, but not quite in the way that it should be. And it's inherently troubling when somebody's smile is too wide, too eager, or just inappropriate to the situation. And it can signify malicious intent. A fiendish grin can imply so many things. They know they've got the upper hand, they're not as scared as you are, and they're excited about the plans they have for you. That smile can jab at your brain, and you quickly have to figure out what's wrong with this picture. It can imply scheming, secrets, or a disturbed mind ready to snap altogether. Psychology Today draws a comparison between a wide smile and the lipless grin of a skull. This similarity, if brought to an extreme, might come across as a threat, or evoke thoughts of death without saying a word. In 2017, the University of Minnesota released a paper on the effectiveness of smiles. They used computer models to simulate different aspects of a smile to see which combination made for a convincing, pleasant expression. The key factors were the smile's angle, extent, and the number of teeth showing. The study's 800 participants were shown faces in various combinations and had to rate the smiles in terms of effective, fake, genuine, creepy, and pleasant. The results showed that there's no single right way to form a pleasant smile, but there is a way to get real creepy real quick. Wide, steep smiles with many teeth were considered particularly off-putting. I think it's fair to take a few things into consideration with this study. For starters, this is what the 3D faces look like. Honestly, I don't think we've made it out of the Uncanny Valley yet. And how did they source the 800 participants for this study? They were all fairgoers at the 2015 Minnesota State Fair. Imagine, you just overloaded on funnel cake, and now you have to decide, how does this make you feel? And it's not just the appearance of a smile that can get under your skin. The reason, or lack of a good reason, is just as important. A smile at a wedding? Great. A smile at a funeral? Ugh. If someone puts a smile on but it doesn't match their posture or body language, it's hard to ignore that dissonance. They may seem unpredictable, and suddenly your mind has to reconcile what you're looking at. If the eyes are wide, they may look crazed and dangerous, but an intense stare can signal their intent to do harm, like a predator ready to ambush. Smiles are often used to suggest fiendish characteristics in art, too. The role of a smile in art can change from work to work. As Barneby explains, the smile has taken on different meanings throughout art history. Ancient Greek statues would often wear what's known as an archaic smile, subdued but noticeable, not suggesting much one way or another. In the medieval and early modern periods, painting someone with a smiling face might imply something fiendish. Outside of some smiling angels, righteous figures were rarely portrayed with a bright smile, as wide grins and laughter went against the calm composure expected of a pious individual. If you wore a smile, you must be hiding something behind it. Consider the 13th century statue of the Tempter at the Strasbourg Cathedral. He offers an apple to an unsuspecting young woman, charming her with a confident smile while hiding serpents at his back. Smiles and the idea of enjoying oneself freely became associated with loose morals and villainy. They were indulgent, the sign of someone who's chosen to live deliciously. In literature and film, a smile may be a mask for someone's true feelings. As Hamlet says, "One may smile and be a villain." But those hidden feelings aren't always wicked. Sometimes a smile hides the pain. Victor Hugo's The Man Who Laughs is a tragedy, not a horror novel. But the idea that its main character, Gwynplaine, has to live his life with a permanent grin is certainly the stuff of nightmares. In this story, set in 17th century England, we meet Gwynplaine, an orphan boy whose face has been surgically disfigured. His sculpted smile is the subject of mockery and laughter throughout his life. And Gwynplaine is not the villain. His smile was forced on him, not his own effort to deceive. As the story goes, Gwynplaine rises from poverty to aristocracy and uses his disfigurement as an indictment on the ruling class. As he tells it, "I am a symbol, O you all-powerful fools. Open your eyes. I represent all. I embody humanity as its masters have made it." Born into suffering, he was forced to grin and bear it his entire life. But now that he had reached the upper class, who was not content to stay silent about their treatment of the poor. The unsettling nature of Gwynplaine's smile is much harder to ignore in the silent film adaptation from 1928. A rictus grin can also be filmmaking shorthand for madness. In the 1931 version of Dracula, Renfield loses his mind under the spell of the Count. Enthralled by Dracula, he spends the rest of his screen time ranting through clenched teeth, his laugh somewhere between a chuckle and a groan. In a film that shows its age in parts, this remains a creepy sight to behold. When Stephen King gets on a roll describing a character, he'll often accent the scene with a consistent, unnerving detail. They were grinning. Randall Flagg in The Dark Tower, the woman in the tub in The Shining, a body in A Good Marriage, and a vampire in Salem's Lot. It works every time. And I think that's a great way to punctuate the description of a monster or a villain. Just when you get a good look at them with claws or a knife or capabilities you can barely understand, they flash some sharp teeth just to let you know what they're thinking. They can hurt you, and they want to. Well, I hope I brought a smile to your face. You're never fully dressed without one. I love digging into topics like this to understand why we find something scary. You can find horror anywhere, especially when you're not looking for it. And if you're a horror fan, stick around. Whether you love horror on film, in literature, or if you're writing your own horror fiction, you're in the right place. So stay tuned.